Hello friends, I'm Jasu Bakuhatsu once again, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Animaniacs for the Sega Genesis. I didn't mention it in the last video because it was kind of obvious, but yeah, we've got a stage select here. You can do the first 4 stages in any order, and once you got them down, you unlock the 5th and final stage. I'm going to continue to do things in order just because, you know, they're numbered, and yeah, I'm just the kind of guy who does things in order. That's just how we do here on youtube.com/Jasu Bakuhatsu or whatever the URL is. So I guess you can, yeah, you see there's actually a little we get a little bit of dialogue before each stage, and the game actually does have like a little bit of a plot where, if you missed it, it's just where Yakko, Wacko, and Dot are trying to find movie memorabilia to open up a pop culture shop or something, which is, I mean, not really the kind of thing that they would do in the show. Like, I don't really see that becoming that being an episode in the TV series, but it does kind of give them an excuse to be running around all these movie lots and wreaking havoc as they do, which is honestly, yeah, it kind of gives them more of a reason to be doing this kind of stuff than they ever had in the TV series. But yeah, you can kind of see the connection though, where it's just like, yeah, just like, okay, we've got this. Like, imagine you're Konami being given like the license to the Animaniacs game, and it's like, okay, what have we got? We've got these 3 cartoon characters that they run around the Warner Brothers movie lot, wreaking havoc wherever they go. What's the plot of our game going to be based on that? And you know, it kind of makes sense that they came up with what they did. Here I'm just kind of going out of my way for just another one of this game's pointless little secrets, and we see some numbers on the left there, which I'm probably going to forget. So 1, 3, 2, 4. I kind of like to remember that 1, 3, 2, 4, but that'll come into play later on in the stage. But yeah, and yeah, you can see we've got buttons there. Or actually, I think it was Runt in the opening stage rather than buttons. Yeah, like I mentioned before, a lot of different characters make their appearances here, and so yeah, what else to say about at this point? Really, probably should have planned ahead a bit more. So okay, one of the things I can say is that yeah, I sort of mentioned in the previous video how this game isn't really like it's mostly nostalgia is the reason why I like this game so much. Like, it's certainly a good game, don't get me wrong, but it's not like a forgotten. It's no masterpiece. Like, it's kind of, you know, your bog standard. This is a nice little shortcut here, by the way. I just skipped over a kind of irritating platform section where I'd have to ride a slow-moving platform up there. I mean, yeah. That's just how I like to do things sometimes. Sometimes I like to, you know, go through slowly and collect every single thing along the way, but sometimes I like to skip things, especially moving platforms that move way too slowly. So, yeah, I think a lot of the reason why I still like this game so much is, yeah, it doesn't have much in the way of, like, most of what I look for in games these days. Like, honestly, I really kind of wish this had been like a full-on puzzle platformer. You can kind of see they sort of have, like, almost kind of the not really the groundwork for it. Like, I don't see how you could make any interesting puzzles or anything out of the Warner's abilities, but you can kind of see just how, like, the basic concept of the game. 3 different characters, a bunch of different abilities that you use to get past different obstacles. Just kind of makes sense that you would turn that into, like, a puzzle game. Like something like The Lost Vikings. You could have done, like, a Lost Vikings type thing using this kind of gameplay premise, but I can also see why they kind of didn't want to do that and kind of wanted to make a more standard platformer. Again, make it things kind of more kid-friendly. I believe it was 1, 3, 2, 4. And there's our stars, and there is Rita and... Oh no, this is embarrassing. Skippy. Skippy was his name. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be seeing a lot of Animaniacs characters as we go through the game. Some of them I don't even recognize. Like, there was that one dude, dude with the headphones who Dot blew a kiss at in the previous stage. That guy probably appeared in an episode at some point. Like, just about all the characters you see in this game were on the show at some point. Like, there'll be some characters we see later on who, yeah, just appeared in, like, one episode of the show as, like, a minor supporting characters or something. To basically be the butt of this episode's jokes or whatever. And that was kind of the way the show worked. It's just who are the Warners meet someone new, and they basically troll them, relentlessly throughout the episode by being silly and hilarious. And yeah, you encounter some of those kinds of characters throughout the game. But yeah, gameplay itself. So yeah, I was going on about why do I like this game so much. A lot of it is just the aesthetics. Like I mentioned, the sort of the cartoony graphic style. It like really captures the style of the show very well. Also, the other, I mean, it's Konami. Konami did this kind of stuff really well back in the day. This can actually be kind of a challenging puzzle. I never found a good way to get past here as a kid. I just kind of always fumble around with it forever. But I actually found during my test play that is by far the easiest way to get through this section. Otherwise, you kind of yeah, mess through with a kind of a tricky crate / block smashing puzzle, which there's actually quite a few ways to solve that, but yeah, the way that I showed you there is the easiest. Not sure what the intended solution was, but yeah, that's certainly the way I like to do it. The Warners are actually seem to be kind of unbalanced, I think, with their abilities. I definitely find myself using Yakko a lot more than the others, just because he basically, yeah, he has two. He's the one who moves crates, which is a lot of what you do in this game, and he also has the only attack, which is another thing that you do a lot of in this game. He has the most abilities and the most useful abilities, and then Wacko, I guess, is second. Dot's sort of kiss-blowing thing doesn't really come into play that often. It's a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have seen more reasons to use Wacko and Dot throughout the game, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't really impact the game too much, I don't think. It's just kind of disappointing in my test play. I found that there was a lot more potential for like a really good, like a really fantastic game that could have been. Oh yeah, here's Nurse. Say hello, Nurse. I'm actually okay. So that's what happens when you try to walk past the nurse. And actually, yeah, we walked into. Oh shit, this is unfortunate. Yeah, Professor Scratch and Sniff. Yeah, so it creates kind of like a little vortex that you get sucked into, and for as long as that happens, you lose stars. It doesn't give you any benefit. I just did that again to kind of show off that I really don't like his sprite in this game. I don't know why. It just doesn't mesh with the style of the others. So yeah, your controls get locked when Hello Nurse walks by you, if you're controlling either Yakko or Wacko, whereas Dot is completely immune to her feminine wiles, as is, I mean, you know, appropriate. Boys, as she would say always on the show. So yeah, there's a lot of like nice little fun touches like that, sort of callbacks to the show and that kind of stuff, which is part of the reason why I kind of like this game more than is probably warranted. Just yeah, a lot of not just nostalgic memories of like playing the game as a kid. Like I don't just get like the nostalgia for this game, like, you know, recalling memories of playing this game as a kid, but it also like brings back a lot of memories of like actually watching the show as a kid as well, which is, you know, kind of neat. There aren't, I mean, okay, that's actually not true. There were a lot of good sort of licensed games based on cartoon properties back in the day, but this is actually probably one of the better ones, I think. I mean, which is, I mean, you'd figure that it would be a good game. I mean, it's Konami. Like Konami made like a lot of good games back in the day, and actually, I believe they made some like, yeah, a lot of good licensed games as well, although I'm kind of blanking on trying to remember any. Konami and Capcom were like the big two that had like a lot of... This can actually troll you. If you try to jump on right then, it pulls away at the last second. Like, yeah, this game trolls you in a lot of sort of irritating ways, which is sort of, I guess, another indication that I kind of have a bit more affection for this game than is warranted, but it's kind of mean-spirited, some of the tricks that this game plays on you sometimes, too. But, I mean, it gives you a lot of lives, though. Like, it's never... Like, it's not too difficult to beat this game. Like, it kind of was for me as a kid, actually, just because I was bad at games back then. But, yeah, like, I can see a lot of reasons why people wouldn't like this game, but, it's mainly just, like, a few missteps where the game just kind of trolls you with, like, some kind of leads you astray into like some kind of cheap hits and stuff. But I don't know. Personally, I find it kind of funny. I don't know if it's deliberate, if they were like actually thinking like, okay, the Animaniacs are kind of jerks to people on the show, so we'll be jerks to the player in the game. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't mind it for some reason. Probably mostly nostalgia talking, but yeah, this coming up right here is actually one of the toughest parts of the game, in my opinion. There's a lot going on with this boss fight. So yeah, as you see here, Ralph is pretty much the boss of every... I mean, he appears like numerous times throughout each stage, and then, yeah, also again, as most of the boss fights in this game. And yeah, this one here is just a climb to the top. You can hit him off of his little platform to stop him from lobbing bombs at you, but, yeah, you won't ever actually beat him by doing that. What you need to do here is climb to the top, and yeah, which is actually a big pain because of all the, just a lot of different things, sort of, yeah, spewing gas and sparked balls and Ralph shooting bombs. That first part with the platforms is actually the toughest part. I had a... I'm actually surprised I was able to get through that so easily. And then once you get to the top, there's this nonsense. You can't actually... Yeah, you need to jump constantly in order to stay ahead on the conveyor belt. And this is actually where the part that made me decide to not play on hard mode when I did my test play, because I could not do this boss fight on hard mode, especially at the end there. Those falling lights do a ton of damage. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, just I guess there's a lot of ways that this game, like the sort of level design in this game, seems kind of subpar, but it's just it sort of makes up for it with a lot of the aesthetic touches. I feel, just for example, I love the Warner's little victory animation there, and the music in this game is great as well, which is kind of typical for Konami. The password music especially is one of my favorites, which is also weirdly typical for Konami. The two Sparkster games for Genesis and Super Nintendo also had fantastic password screen music. But anyways, that music means that that's the end of the level, and therefore the end of Stage 2 of Animaniacs. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, tune in next time.